The PSU called for a commission of inquiry to investigate and address wrongdoings. We signed up in good faith with a view of exposing and holding wrongdoers accountable. We did not sign up for a political show that will be limited to name-calling, political.
That was the abrupt end to the live stream of the Commission of Inquiry this morning. The audio was cut and video faded to black as Commissioner Luis Martinez, the union's representative, made a statement on behalf of the Public Service Union. The scathing remarks, which hit out at government's decision to sell assets without proper accountability, pushed someone to pull the plug on the live broadcast. Here's how Martinez began his strong criticism of the government.
The Public Service Union wishes to express its outright disappointment in the government of Belize for the mockery of the Commission as we continue to witness the fire sale of public assets while we are in this process.
Some of the assets Martinez speaks of, according to these documents dated February 22nd and 24th, 2021, include the approval of sale of 4 aircraft and 3 firearms from the police armory in Belmopan. These documents show that Prime Minister John Briceño, as Minister of Finance, approved the sale of unserviceable airplanes, 2 Grumman Gulfstream G2 and 2 Hawker Siddeley HS-125s for $540,000 to an aircraft mechanic identified as Gliss Marin. Also approved for sale on February 24th were the sales of 1 9mm pistol for $600 to Cayo Central's air representative Alex Balona, 1 Ruger brand bold action rifle at cost of $1,200 was approved for CEO in the Ministry of Home Affairs Kevin Arthurs, and a 9mm Cherokee brand pistol for $500 to Denby Young. The documents were signed by Ruperto Vicente of the Vehicle Care Unit, the same man who appeared before the Commission of Inquiry and owned up to have mistakenly listed assets as unserviceable before. It is unclear if there was any bidding process for these items. Last Friday, Prime Minister John Briceño was asked about these sales.
This was brought to my attention to saying that this offer was made and that we should accept it. I don't sit down and ask, hey, did you do this, you did that? That has been brought to me and then I approved it. And could you finish, please? Let me finish, please. What we are trying to do right here now is that those planes have been out there and it's losing value every day. The BDF is telling me that one in particular, they have spent about $100,000 to take care of it in over a year. And so when they brought it up to my attention and said it's best to sell it, and I was under the impression that this was the best offer that we got. That is why then I approved it. Now, as to the issue of the guns, can we improve? Of course we could improve. Of course we could improve. I'm not infallible, I'm human.
But Martinez and by extension the PSU didn't buy the PM's "I'm only human" defense. Today, Martinez criticized government's lack of transparency and what they call abuse of power, slamming the offices of the Assets and Utilities Manager as well as the Financial Secretary for these decisions.
During the past 4 months, we have witnessed the sale of vehicles, aircrafts, and even guns for CEOs and ministers without proper public disposal process. We have seen whereby the Assets and Utility Manager, acting via the Office of the Financial Secretary, continue to abuse his power and discretion to render assets unserviceable, when in fact they are in good conditions.
Martinez went on for about 2 more minutes before he was cut off and the Commission of Inquiry ended before it even properly began. Martinez's closing words before the transmission was stopped expressed PSU's dissatisfaction with government's actions, calling out the Prime Minister John Briceño for championing the cause before he was elected, but who has now failed to do anything about it since he has been elected. Martinez called for the Ministry of Finance officials to be held responsible.
Mr. Prime Minister, on February 13, 2020, while you were the leader of opposition, you clearly stated that your party would have planned policies to break the cycle of skeptic corruption, to work for the betterment of this country. You must therefore understand your skepticism, in which is merited, unless you wish for us to forget the period 1998 to 2008. The abuse of the government assets currently stands in the millions of dollars, and it is time for all the key players in the Ministry of Finance to be held financially and criminally responsible. Enough is enough. We can no longer continue to stand the stench of the pit of corruption that exists when it comes to the sale of the people's assets.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.